Algebra 1, Chapter 4, Section 6, Regression and Median Fit Lines. So, in the last set of videos, we had scatter plots, and we just picked 2 points and used those 2 points to make a line. And one of the things I mentioned in the videos is that, and we probably noticed in the homework, is that depending on which 2 points you take, you can have vastly different lines and everything that you're doing. So, handwritten equations uh, are usually inaccurate. Uh, there is an algorithm, though, which is an algorithm is just a process, right? To find the best fit line in computer programs or graphing calculators. The one that we are going to use at first is called linear regression. Now, you can do this by hand. I mean, if they can program a computer to do it, someone had to figure out how to do it by hand first. I'm not going to teach you how to do it by hand because it is a pain. It's a giant equation and it's not fun. But with a spreadsheet, the same spreadsheet we used in the last lessons, we can uh, do all the kinds of different regressions to do because I've set it up for you to do that. So just like a calculator, you just have to make sure you're choosing the right one, plugging it in the right way, and then it will get you the best fit line for what you're looking at. Um, when you do that, there is going to be some value R that you end up seeing, and it's called the correlation coefficient. And the whole idea is that the correlation coefficient tells you two things. One, it tells you whether it's positive or negative correlation. So if it's a negative value, it's negative correlation. If it's a positive value, it's positive correlation. And if it's zero, it says no correlation. Um, but really, whenever it's close to zero, like if you had an R value of 0.001, that's a really bad correlation. That's basically no correlation at all. Um, but if the value is, so that's no correlation there. If the value is very close to either 1 or negative 1, like if I had an R value that was, say, 0.978, that is really close to 1. This is a really good fit. That means that the data fits that line really, really well. Um, Basically, if it's above a zero point 0.5, it's a pretty good fit. If it's above a zero point 0.7, it's a it's a good fit. If it's above a 9, it's a really good fit, right? So that R value basically tells you whether it's a really good fit or an okay fit. Um, we can do this in GeoGebra, but I've found that actually using Google Sheets and setting it up works a little bit better. It's a little bit easier to type in, and there's less calculations that you have to do yourself. I've got these set up all for you. You just plug it in, and it's going to tell you what you want to do, or what you want. So um, let's take a look at example one here, a best fit line. So here we've got a table, and it shows the amount of money made in movies in the United States. Use a graphing calculator to write an equation for the best fit line for the data. So whenever I see it say use a graphing calculator for this kind of problem, that means use the spreadsheet. And you should already have a copy of it. You should have it start, like make a copy of it, of the one that's shared. That way we're not all typing on the same one. And then you should be able to plug this stuff into it right away and use it. Probably want to start so you can get to it a little bit faster, but or know what the name is. Um, but let's go ahead and plug this data into this chart. So first thing, I'm going to move this out of the way here, so I can still see the chart. If you take a look, when you first open it up, on the bottom, I'm on the scatter plot page. And all the scatter plot is going to do is put them on a graph for me, right? So I can kind of see what the general trend is, whether it's positive or negative correlation or no correlation at all. I'm going to change my tab here to the trend line. So you can see on the bottom of the page here, it says trend line. I'm now on that, and it should say table for best fit line up in the top. And on scatterplot, it should just say scatterplot. So table for best fit line. Think of the independent and dependent variables. So independent is year, dependent is income, and this was in $1 billion. All right. So now all I have to do is take the table that we had before and type it in. 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004. See, I think my table is a little bit bigger there, but I can't see it anymore. Yeah, it goes all the way to 2009. 2008, 2009. And now I type in the income, 7.488, 8.13. And see, now I've got the first two lines. It thinks it already has a trend line for me, but I'm not done typing in all the data. The more data I put in, the more accurate it is as a model to the information. And 10.21. All right, so there we go. And you can see on the chart that's made, it's got the scatter plot for you, but it's also got that trend line built as well. Of course, if you notice in the directions, it doesn't say to draw the scatter plot. We don't need it. We just need to be able to visualize it here. Yes, this looks like a positive correlation, and I take a look at that line, and it looks like it's a pretty shallow line there. But I actually have the data automatically calculated for you on the page. So I got a slope of 0.2321. I had it automatically round to 4 decimal places, but you can always decide for your problem on how accurate you want it to be. I'm going to do 2 decimal places here, so 0.23. So my best fit line, oops, let me change it to a y equals 0.23. I'm going to do tenths here, x plus, and now I go back to my sheet, see the y-intercept, oh, it's negative 546.03. Negative 456 point, hold on, I feel like I read that off wrong on one of them. Negative 546, see, I keep switching the 5 and the 4 there. Negative 456.03. 456, okay, 03. And so there's the equation, my best fit line. I'm done. Now, if I take a look here, my R value is 0.8755. I'm just going to kind of write that down on the side. 0.8755. I don't know if the questions are going to ask for you for this, but here, because this is close to positive 1, I know it's a positive correlation. And I already knew that from the scatter plot, but sometimes in the calculator, you can do all these calculations and not actually have the correlation until you look at the R value. So it's a positive correlation. And I would classify this one as a good. How about good positive correlation? 0.87 is pretty close to 1, so that's a pretty good correlation there.